In May 1914, the Komagata Maru arrived at the port of Vancouver. The Indian passengers on board the Japanese vessel hoped to escape colonial tensions in their homeland by immigrating to Canada. Due to restrictions imposed by the Canadian government to reduce the influx of Asian immigrants, they were denied both entry and provisions. They were able to receive some aid from local Japanese, First Nations, and Sikh residents, but after 2 months of inaction, the boat was sent back to India.
In 2008, the Canadian Prime Minister issued a short apology to Indo-Canadian residents, but this was rejected by the community. In 2011, the Komagata Maru Memorial, erected by the Sikh community in partnership with the government, opened to the public along the seawall at Harbour Green Park, a primarily tourist-frequented area.
Oh yes, I found out a few weeks ago when I first crossed it, and I started to read about the history of it.
There were hundreds of British Indians that arrived on a boat in Canada, and that only a handful of them were allowed to stay, and the rest were turned back and returned to India. Although they set sail from Hong Kong, I believe, they were returned to India and not welcome to stay in Canada.
Sad to think that amount of people were held here for so long and then sent back. I just think that's cruel.
Makes me feel good. I mean, I feel really blessed to be here. My family's from all over the world. I'm a mixed Canadian, as you know. So I mean, seeing this monument and having everybody become aware of it, and you know, the location. It's in such a beautiful place, and it's close to where the actual occurrence happened. I think it's important for the general populace to be aware of the history of this, and I think it's very important. I think to have this here.
I think it's to get to the people's minds, and try to pass a message that how Canada is now compromised to receive immigrants, because every country in America was built by immigrants. It's something the native people represent only a few part of the population, so I guess that's the goal, to show people the importance that immigrants have in the countries they arrive.
To remind people that these things possibly should never happen again.
It brings to mind that there were other groups of desperate immigrants that were looking for refuge in Canada. There were Jews that were turned away by Canada.
Yes, like the problems in Europe with the immigrants of north of the Africa and stuff that they go on the dangerous crossings with the precarious boats, and many of them die on the way, and when they get there they're not well received. Sometimes they are sent back, sometimes they are discriminated. So yeah, it makes me think about these problems and issues.
I just hope they sort out all the boat people and the whole world tries to help them, because, as I said, it's bigger than one country. They can't all just go into Italy or wherever. They have to be spread around, and they have to be helped, without a doubt.
But it's hard to swallow that we live in a peaceful, democratic country that started on kind of iffy terms, you know, very unaccepting of other populations.
Something that was a necessity. I guess it had to happen in order for Canada to change. So God bless the men who went through the trauma and the turmoil. But I mean, if it wasn't for them, then I think Canada would be a very different place right now.
I'm glad it's here. Again, I was just walking by for a stroll and saw the monument. I thought, wow, what's that all about? I'd stop in and take a look. So if that was the goal, it worked.